broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome, everybody, to a very, very special AfterBuzz TV after show for Intruders. This is season 1. I lost what episode we're on.
Episode 5.
Episode 5.
The Shepherds and the Fox. I am your host for the evening. I am Anna Koppel. Right next to me is the very beautiful and talented Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome back, Isaac Johnson.
Hello.
We've missed you.
I know that you did, Anna.
We did. With us, as always, Mr. Will Lenk.
Thank you. I want this music to play under me every time I walk into a room, by the way.
Yeah.
It'd be ominous.
It'd be.
And in studio, you guys, we are so excited. Show creator, executive producer, writer, Glen Morgan is here with us.
I feel like I should have a game console.
Yeah, that would be.
You're controlling us from the sofa there.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in. We're so thrilled to have you.
Yeah, we're going to try not to geek out too much, but we might.
We're going to try.
Me too. I'm disappointed that I don't have the black and yellow.
Oh, can we get somebody
but
on
it's all
that?
behind you, so.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
but
true.
but you should be excited that it's not bedazzled like for Britney Spears, maybe. Right? So that's good.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
All right, so this episode is the Shepherds and the Fox, and let's maybe start by talking about the Shepherds. Frank goes to we have Richard, who's just kind of hanging out in a motel, and Frank pays him a visit. We haven't seen Frank since the first episode.
Yeah, from the first, the opening of the first episode. Really.
Right. But he's back with coffee.
Yeah.
Robert Forster, who is always so good and brings such like gravitas to a role, I think, into this character. You know.
Yeah.
Was
the
he somewhat...
the nicest man
Yes.
there is, and we're on a bus scouting locations, and we go, we need Frank Shepherd, and we said to the crew, who is Frank Shepherd? And my brother Darren goes, Robert Forster, and everyone said yes. And Robert called me, and I had like looked up some stuff that he was from Rochester, my mom was from Rochester, New York, so
You had the in.
we had
Yeah.
but what he does is like so cool. He gives everybody a box, and with a really cool metal letter opener.
Oh, nice.
He said over his career he's given like 5,000 of these to people, so everyone's like waiting for Robert Forster to give him.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, really nice man.
It's like his thing.
Yeah, and it makes sense to have him on the show. There's like an article this week about how he's continued to reincarnate his career. So it would seem fitting for him to be on Intruders.
Well, yeah, even like last year when he was on Breaking Bad, yeah, that really even got him more back into focus and stuff like that.
Yeah, he said he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, I heard he didn't even tell like his daughter.
Right,
yeah.
And everybody went bananas when they
So
saw
cool.
him, but he only wants to guest star, and so we had him for this episode, but then went back. The teaser to the pilot was some reshooting we did.
Oh,
so we
okay.
went back and said, "Can you come back?" And he's like, "Yeah." So
Sure.
Nice.
So cool.
yeah.
Very cool. Well, we find out a little bit more about Frank and Richard's relationship, right? And we also find out that Rose has asked Frank to do some off-book work.
Yeah.
So apparently this is not like an invention of Marcus. There's people do work off the books.
Yeah,
a lot
well,
of shepherds do the work stuff.
yeah, he makes the distinction that's way off the books.
So maybe
Yeah.
there's like under the table off the books,
Yeah.
and there's like way deep off
Well,
the
look,
books.
these are powerful people, and powerful people are always doing stuff off the books. They're always hiding something, so this
Sure.
doesn't surprise me.
It's so great to be here because usually I'm at home going, yeah, no,
You feel free to shout that at us
Okay, no,
throughout
I'm-
the whole
please
thing.
do.
Yeah, throw that cup right on over here if we get something wrong.
But it makes me question, how long has Frank been off the books, and how deep and how extensive has his work been, you know, compared to what Richard's doing? Right now we think Richard's doing like a good deal amount of work. That's, you know, very questionable, but how much has Frank been doing?
Is there perhaps a difference? Because I know Rose seems pretty high up, I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess, and since Rose asks him to do something off the books, it's like maybe sanctioned, and Marcus's is not sanctioned.
Well, but if it's way, way off.
Sure.
She wants to keep that from everyone else, all the other reverte. I mean, I would assume you're nodding, so.
We got a nod, folks. Yeah.
All right.
So is it like there's like a council and
Well,
there's like
I-
certain things you have to agree on?
Yeah, and I'm assuming this is something personal. And I have a
Yeah.
prediction about that later, but, you know. I'll
Wait, the lights are supposed to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're only allowed to predict at the end. Will's
Okay.
jumping the gun a bit. Well,
No, I didn't say the prediction.
okay, fair
I just
enough.
alluded to
Fair
the prediction.
enough.
You know what else I thought was interesting? We found out a little bit more of Richard's kind of money problems. They said something about a brother.
Yeah.
Stuff I
Yeah.
assume we'll delve more into Richard's life as we go along in this series.
Is Richard's brother part of the book? Or,
Oh, he's sending hand signals.
Episode
We got an
seven.
episode.
I think he told me to
Episode
steal
7.
second. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
forgot to get the
It's like
key
2
for
words.
that.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, no, I just wrote down like what happened to Richard's brother because it seems to be a motivating factor.
And what also I
Part
love,
of the Reverti.
Right.
what I also loved is that we see that Richard is a little disillusioned by the Reverte here. He's not.
Yeah.
He's more than we realize. He's not thrilled with them having these secrets.
Well, what does he ask Frank? He asks him like,
He says,
is a
like, why
question.
can't this be for everyone? If this is what
Right.
if this is what life is, shouldn't everybody have the right to know this? And I guess live knowing this.
sure.
And then here's the other question I had about the scene is that, you know, Frank asks him, you know, was it you who brought back Marcus Fox? Was it you? And it seems like sometimes they're omniscient almost. Like, you know, like later, and we'll talk about, you know, Rose puts in a call to Jack and she's like, you know, better to meet you at room 112 at the Pilgrim Lodge or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, how does she know that? Why does she know exactly where he is? They seem to have like complete information about their lives. So do they know that Richard was the one who brought back Marcus and they're just kind of messing with him, or
Or they're trying to confirm their suspicions, maybe.
Well, watching that scene, I felt like
Glen's
Frank wasn't
lying.
buying it necessarily. But I don't know. Is that should I be thinking that? Should I be?
No, I think that, you know, he was, as it goes, and I don't know how much we really get into this,
Okay.
but, you know, shepherds, the idea is that they were people that in their youth had killed somebody, or
Yeah.
life was going not good, and then they come in, Reverte comes in, cleans it up, goes, you work for us, a lifetime of service, and then you can become what we know. And so you have a master-student kind of thing, and that's a very intense relationship between those two. So I think what Frank was asking is like, it'll kill me
Yeah.
if it's you. And he just
right.
lied to him, because we all know, we saw
Yeah.
it on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then
Yeah.
I guess Frank did mention, or I think Frank said something about like what I did for you, or something to that degree, or maybe Richard says what you did for me. Yeah.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
But right, okay, but this is, I guess, the last that we'll know about their relationship because it all kind of comes to a head abruptly on the pier.
Pier 9.
Pier 9.
Yeah. Pier,
Shocking.
Pier 9.
So there's, again, you know, Jack had gotten this phone call to meet on Pier 9 the following morning. We'll go back and talk about Jack some more, but he goes to the pier and Frank is there to meet him. And they have a brief exchange. And was that when he said that he's only alive because of his wife? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Life, yeah.
So that's big.
But now here's the other thing. If he was sent there by Rose and he was going to kill him, and I mean, there's no way of talking about this without skipping to the end. We find out that Rose is Amy.
Yeah.
Well, that just brings up a whole bunch of more questions about who wants him alive and who wants him dead.
I don't think it does, because we've been talking about, there's a struggle for, there are two souls in a body, and, one is always struggling for the other. Mm-hmm. So, Amy probably wants Jack alive and Rose doesn't.
But
maybe.
I feel like Rose is, unless they're both have power because the building is, one of the people the building is under is Amy's name, right?
Right.
So...
we expect answers to all of these questions. This is gonna be a 2-hour episode.
Well, now that you know, Amy wasn't. Well, there's stuff next week.
Yeah.
But Amy wasn't gonna go until Jack's okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense with the
I feel
whole
like I won the question. Game show.
Yeah.
All right.
That makes sense.
Well, I guess then it would be easier to give up the struggle as long as you've made your loved one safe, or you'd make
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay.
That totally makes sense. Okay. All right. Well, but Richard kills Frank.
Yeah.
And he says something like, if what they tell us is true, then this won't be for long, or this won't mean much, or
This won't mean much.
right. So and now what? And now he's dead, or he's on to the next life, or the other soul now what?
Well, I'm thinking, since this is something that everyone could have, this is just how life works, that his soul could be brought back somewhere through someone eventually, and all of ours are. It's just that, as they say towards the end of the episode, not everybody knows it. So I assume it's just the idea that one of these days he might run into Frank again.
Yeah, well, that's what Gary says. Gary says that maybe it was Gary, I can't remember now, but like we'll all be back again. It's basically just that these people know how to do it, but we all sort of reincarnate. We're just not aware of it.
It's awakening in the
right.
Yeah.
Like you can remember your past life, which is, I'm assuming, what all the tokens are about in the books and stuff like that. So it's something that's available for everyone. You just have to know how to do it.
But does Frank personally know how to do it? Does he want to be, does he want to be returned in that way? Because right now he's out for the people who are already like that. So it makes me question whether he would do that himself.
I don't know if he has a choice.
Well, but they have other shepherds besides Richard, I'm assuming, and those people always bring people back. Wait, was that confirmation there? Oh, so close.
Are there? I mean,
like 3 or 4 things there.
I don't know. I don't know if this is something you could say, but I mean, are we going to see other shepherds as the series goes on?
A couple, but they're not to the degree that
Richard
Frank and Richard are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yes, I mean, I'm trying to go. It's hard to go through the spoiler thing, but I mean, I think look, and in Quiver Verte, if you go through and basically you have that ceremony that Joseph Cranfield had, and you show a person their trigger, and they're wrapped up at a certain age. Notice he went out at 72. He could have gone out at 81. There's periods of 9 where you can come in and go out. Mm-hmm. And so you prepare, you wrap them up. You're not done seeing that ceremony, and that makes it easier for Reverte to find you. And if later we would get into the novelist has a idea of a network of like midwives, and there's certain areas in the world where it's easier to cross over. So you have to look in that area for the return Reverte. Okay. If you've not gone through that ceremony, it's near impossible to find somebody like Big Spiderbeck.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And I guess if
so deep.
Yeah, I know. You wrote this show just to mess with our minds, is my guess, right?
It's when they went to BBC Worldwide, the studio, and you have that meeting, and they go, here's a couple things, here's this book, and I go home and I read the book, and I'm like, I'm the first. Well, a lot of people read it because it's a bestseller, but you go, I'm going to turn this into a TV show, and you're reading and go, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And at a certain point, which in the series is kind of last week, you go, oh. And then stuff starts, you know. Now, we veered a little bit from the book for several reasons, but, you know, and then you write a couple of scripts, and I turn them in, and they go, well, I kind of like it. But what's going on? Then you go, oh, here's the next one. They go, okay, what's the next one?
Right.
And then everybody has gone through this, so it's frustrating. I mean, I knew, like, you know, you start seeing on Twitter and stuff last night, people going, oh, it's starting to make sense.
Right.
And you go, but, and they don't say, oh, it makes me crazy. People go, this wanders. They don't say anything. But I felt like Donna's 18th birthday was the first image you saw.
Right.
Yeah.
They were like laying out all this stuff.
Sure.
But it's not usually how you watch TV. Like, you wait for them to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So without being told, you have to actively watch this.
Yeah.
How old is Amy? Is she 36? 9 times 4?
Wow.
Yeah. Yes? Question mark?
Well, I don't know. You told me not to say.
Okay.
Okay. Next week.
Well, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Next week
I was
you'll
gonna
find more
say-
history there to that.
That's-
Because we see birthdays. 9
Yeah.
with Madison, and now...
Yeah. So what I really
Yeah,
enjoy about
okay.
the show is just like I like piecing it together. I'm a pretty big like sci-fi nerd. Like we talked about X-Files a bit earlier, but like I enjoy a show that's not like sort of just laid out for you. Like here's all the answers. Like I like to find the nuggets. And,
I mean, that's what, you know, it is. Spoiler to anybody who hasn't seen that, but you want to know? Do you want to know that Bruce Willis is dead in the first 5 minutes? It kind of ruins the movie.
Yeah.
And so
It's
you
not
want to
really-
know the whole thing of this show in 10 minutes? It's no fun.
It's great that it sounds like BBC America, they were behind the idea, though, of a show that it's a slow build. Like, it's not going to... Because I'd imagine a network would maybe panic that, like, or if they don't know from the start, are they gonna stick with us or something like that? So it's great that they really allowed
you know, yes, I have Jane Tranter and Julie Gardner, who they brought back Doctor Who.
Right.
I mean, they're just legends over there. They're extraordinary. And then I have Perry Simon, the head of BBC America, and they've put on Orphan Black, so they knew, like, here's this show. It's just, you know, different. And so yeah, Perry was like, can we say this now? And you'd be like, why don't we wait a minute? And to his credit, and you know, he like, okay, he, you know, trusted what we were doing, and maybe we should have gone a little faster, but it's just not that kind of show. And if it was 22 episodes, I'd say we have to go faster.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was 8 episodes, like, hang in there.
You can make the commitment.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
but you know, that's, and you know, from all of us, you know, when we're on Sunday, and sorry, when the games are, I couldn't watch last live because I
You
was
watch
in
football?
San Diego
Yeah.
the game. But I just check you guys out and really greatly appreciate that you've been like, I know, to get up here live and go, I think it's that, and I think it's that. I mean, and it's been, you guys really been supportive, and from all of us, you know, until all the cast and crew are really close, and to go, you got to watch this thing. So
Oh,
really,
wow.
really greatly appreciate,
thank
you know,
you.
because there's a lot out there going, this show's stupid, you know.
We love it.
I've loved that I think I enjoyed the show even so much more because of what we're doing here,
Yeah.
because it's fun to
Yeah,
just
right,
talk
yeah.
all this out. It's a
Yeah.
show that you really can have a great time talking it out.
Sure, it's cathartic.
Yeah, and I feel like every time we talk, we figure out more from each other. Like, oh yeah, that does make
I
sense.
remember we had a
you know?
moment last week where
Yeah.
we're all like, ah.
Yeah.
What was that? Can you tell us the thing that you were surprised that we didn't figure out last week?
That Amy was Rose.
Okay.
Oh, actually, since I wasn't here last week, I figured that
Oh,
out.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
you know
I just
that.
didn't want to embarrass you guys.
No, but you know, it's always it's a weird thing. I mean, you guys all great stuff, but you go, okay, here's this, and then you finally get the audience, and you go, that? No.
Right, yeah.
No, and then you go, oh, they're gonna know this, so I should hide it. But then they don't figure it out, and you go, oh, I can't believe, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. One of our listeners figured that out, actually. They said so on iTunes.
Oh, there you go.
Which we are a fan of y'all posting your theories and opinions and 5 stars and tell a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
I did admit I didn't figure it out. It was Rose's last episode, but during this episode, there were hints here and there that like I pieced together, and then at the end with the reveal, I was like, "Yep, that was Rose." Because there was that quick moment, not to jump too far ahead, but when Jack and Amy are talking on the phone, and he said, "I'm at the Le Soleil," and then you can see her face and just like went completely shocked or like surprised that she was there, and then it made me think of the first or second episode when we saw Amy at the Le Soleil. I was like, that makes sense. If Rose is the one living there across the hall,
Right.
it just there were a few quick moments that I could piece together. It was Amy.
Yeah.
What's really great in the novel, the reveal that it's Rose is the penultimate scene.
Sure.
And you go, wow, I trying my damnedest to do that.
Yeah.
But in a novel, Michael can say, Rose walks in the room and he doesn't have to describe her. Where
Right.
if Mira
You see
walks in
Mira.
playing Rose, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
everybody's like,
exactly.
what? So we had to move that up to
Sure.
way up here.
Yeah, I didn't
Great.
I didn't actually figure out she was Rose, but I did, like, after she got off the phone with him, and then he gets, like, the mysterious call after that. I'm like, is Amy the one calling him with this, like, muddled voice?
And maybe
Perfect
that goes
timing.
into the idea of how they knew where he was. Maybe because if Amy is Rose, maybe they're tracking the phone or something
So
like
I'm like,
that.
But
I'm
he
at the-
lied about where he was.
But she was on the phone with them. I don't know.
GPS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there's
some
things.
technology stuff that happens, so maybe they tracked his phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe Siri told them. He had, like, the best working Siri ever on his phone. Like, you just call Gary Fisher. It's like, call your mother. No, I said Gary Fisher, and it calls, like, my aunt. I'm like, what? This is the best version of Siri
Hey,
ever.
but it showed technology worked during this time.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
technology
What's up with
worked
that?
because they wanted it to work.
Yeah.
It's over.
They control everything, man.
All right, guys, we have a lot to get through. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like,
so Detective Ron Blanchard was back,
Right.
and so really quickly, I just want to touch on that he was taking a statement from Jack about what had gone down with Bill Anderson's shooting last week, and so again, I don't know. Does it seem like he knows what's going on? Does he seem like he knows everything? It definitely seems like Jack wants to hold back information from him.
Well, I still think it was Rose / Amy who was behind the glass during his interview the week before. So I think he does know. Plus, wasn't he? Unless I'm totally.
He was on the case with Marcus,
Yeah,
right?
he was
Didn't
on
they
the
show
case with
him?
Marcus in the
Yes.
the open of the episode too.
Yes.
He's at
So-
least dealt with these people before, and he maybe recognizes some of the things going on. I think, I don't know.
He probably got. Probably 9 years ago, he started investigating this Marcus Fox case and
Oh, yeah.
kind of got sucked into this whole mess of a conspiracy with the Reverte.
And certainly being down in that house and seeing how many bodies are under the floor, you probably don't forget that experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Sure.
And we can kind of
talk
get into
about
Marcus. Let's, what is this look on your face? Just listen.
Okay.
If he were involved in the Marcus case, which he was involved in the
Yeah.
Marcus case, but I imagine it just seemed like this person was a crazy serial killer.
Sure.
I
yeah.
don't know that he would recognize. Oh, sure, Bill Anderson and the Ghost Machine, obviously. What does Jack know about it?
Well, once he keeps going into it, though, I think maybe find out who those bodies were. Maybe it leads to something else.
Yeah.
But what's the significance of the body? Are they real couples? Because we did see that one close up with the photos that it seemed like a happy couple with a male and female bound together. So are all the bodies just couples that were killed, or are they just
Marcus
male
is in
and
that
female?
picture,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
in the picture with whoever it is. I don't know. It don't seem like they all had some sort of keepsake.
and trigger.
Yeah, I was saying a trigger. So it's kind of seems like.
So for Marcus, he can justify his murders because he's bringing them back the way he knows Qui Reverte does. So every one of them, this stuff with his trigger, even though he's a madman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this isn't necessarily just because that was the one thing I wasn't sure whether these bodies had something to do with Qui Reverte or whether it's just that they do. But I mean, but it's also just because he likes to kill people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought because he's a nightmare.
Yeah.
He's terrifying.
For X-Files fans, that's Alex Dakin, who was
Yeah.
he's like an everything Darren. I don't know why I keep pointing at Darren.
He's right there. He's there in
everything
spirit.
Darren. He was in Humbug, where he had the messed up face when Julian was talking. So I mean, he's just like the best.
It's creepy.
Yeah, really good. And the sweetest man. Like at the rap party, he's just dancing with his wife, and he and Millie just go hang out, and then. But you know, Alex is not that way, but he's very. And Millie was like working with him, going, "Wait, are you in character right now?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, and you were telling us about Millie earlier. We were talking about how you guys chose her for the role.
Well, you know, I had kind of kept it quiet as a producer, going, "I'm never going to find this kid."
Right.
If you're a feature, you can read thousands. You know, you can look for Daniel Radcliffe forever. Right. So Julie Gardner, the executive producer of BBC, said, "Oh, look at the email file I sent you. I want to make an offer to this kid." And I thought, they don't know what they're doing. What? The first kid, and then you open it up, and there was this big close-up done on an iPhone of Millie, and she had yellow framed Ray-Bans. She was doing the Marcus Fox stuff, and I thought, man, is this a joke? Is this like, you know, a 28-year-old with something
cleverly framed?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I gotta see her in person. And then when she came in, she's speaking to me in American. You know, I didn't think anything of it. And she does the scene. She did the scene in the car with Karen from 3. And then when she's done, she just drops this British accent. I'm like, whoa, you don't have to do that because we're BBC. She's like, no, I'm British. And
I had no idea.
She's the best.
When you said that earlier, that kind of shocked me. That added to me a whole new level of I'm so impressed with this girl.
And I was also impressed. Tell us where she learned her American accent.
From watching the Disney Channel, like Hannah Montana or whatever like that. And, you know, but for a kid like that to be with, you know, John Simm is just a great actor.
Yeah.
She held her own. He'd be done with a take, and she'd go, "Good job, John." And then, you know, the cat scene, you know, was something we did later. Like the very last few days was a thing to add. And Eduardo couldn't get back here because he lives in Maryland. So I was, you know, shooting that scene with her. And, you know, when she cried, she would go like this. And I went up to her and I'm like, okay. Now this kid's she did 2 episodes of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Never been a school play or anything. I said, okay, Millie, you know, your parents and your character's parents are getting a divorce. And at night you hear them on the phone arguing. And Floppy or whatever, Loopy, is your only friend. And look what you just did. I go, but I gotta see your face. And she just looks up, and without being a creep, she just goes, okay, let's go. Like that. And then, you know, people come in to touch up her makeup, and I'm like, get out of here. Everybody get out of here. And then she just
goes for it.
Did what she did. And I'm thinking, you know, you're just like taken out going, this kid doesn't know that level of pain. Where is it coming from? She's just incredible.
Maybe it's another soul.
I'm not gonna carry it away, but
how
She's
Mozart could write at the age 4, she can be this good. At how old is she?
She turned 10 in February.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very talented.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
And a nice kid, not like, you know, sometimes, you know, they can be creeps, but she's just sweet.
Yeah.
I know we talked about trying to have her come in here. I feel like I'd be terrified if she turned on that If she turned on that Marcus thing, I would have to get the hell out of here.
No.
I'm sure she's very sweet.
And then, you know, we stayed at furnished apartment up there in Vancouver. And she and her brother Charlie, who's 15, they would just be in the lobby. You know, their room was not far off the lobby, but you'd come in and from the bar and they'd be there, hey. And then one night, some other show, I think Night of the Museum 3 was shooting there, and they had a party upstairs, and Millie's there with a clipboard. Who are you? Okay, you can go. You know?
That's fine.
That's great.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
That's adorable. Well, Madison also finds, speaking of in the lobby, she finds the crossing over building.
The building.
The building.
And what I found unusual was that there were people in the building.
I thought so too, because the last time we went inside the actual building, no one was there.
It was like
empty.
abandoned.
Yeah, you'd think it would be abandoned, but people.
Maybe it was the weekend.
But even that, yeah. But even that woman was very condescending towards this little girl,
Yeah.
and I didn't like that. Maybe, and it made me question the woman. I was like, okay, why are you there? Are you part of all of this?
I thought she was dead at first because when the first guy walked down the stairs, he almost seemed to not see her. Like, kind of he did, but I don't know. But
just pay attention to where he's coming from.
where's he coming from? He was coming from. He was upstairs, right?
Wasn't there an
No,
elevator?
there was mailboxes.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Just saying.
He works for the Postal Service.
Behind the mailbox, there's a secret door.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, well, maybe that's where the souls are coming in and out of.
Maybe.
Oh, hey, that sounds
Check
like
your mail.
People mailing sand dollars.
Well, and I also wrote this, I mean, I don't know if you guys talked about this last week, but the building says unlimited growth increases the divide. Does anybody have a theory as to?
I know you mentioned it last week.
Okay.
I theorized that this building is where the souls can cross the divide, the divide between the living and what's dead.
They said there are certain places that it's easier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
This building is like the portal that allows that to happen.
Okay.
Here's the history of that building.
Okay, go.
In Vancouver, I'm trying to make this a really shorter. It's owned by this guy Mike. He's just great, and his dad owned all these great old buildings like that in Vancouver. And the power company said, "We want that building," and the dad was like, "No, you're rude about it." And they said, "You'll never buy it." And so, in later shots, you'll see an enormous skyscraper behind it, and that's I don't know, power company.
Sure.
And so that little building just stayed there, and his father put on the wall the unlimited growth increases the divide.
Yeah.
And it became a rallying cry. Somehow people found out about it years ago in Seattle when the trade organizations were down there,
Right.
and they had riots down there. That became, and now people will go there and take their picture in front of the building. And I thought, no, it's a cool thing, but it still kind of implies, it still fits, the theory you have.
Yes.
Still like that theory.
I like that. All right.
Okay, so we touched on earlier that that Madison, well, Marcus finds his old home, but Madison thinks that it might be her home.
It seems like another one of those moments where it's struggling between the two. Like she's getting his memories and recognizing it and thinking it's something with her.
Right. And poor Larry Owen.
Yeah.
Just took down his crown molding.
Yeah.
And
stuff's hard to remove, man.
Have you taken down crown molding?
I have, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So he knows.
And you lived to tell about it.
I know, I did live, yeah. I didn't have a 9-year-old in there who would murder me, so that was an advantage.
Right. If I've learned anything from the show, it's not to trust small children. Don't let them into your home. Don't give them rights across the country.
She did just
You
barge
think it'd be
in.
the other way
known that
around,
before.
but
Yeah, you probably shouldn't let strangers into your house in general, but she did just barge right on in. So.
And goes right to use the phone.
Yeah.
But I guess that was also because it was Madison calling her parents. So is Madison? Because I wasn't sure if Madison's the kind of girl who would just before this whole Marcus situation would just barge in. So I guess maybe Marcus
Larry said something.
Well,
Didn't it say you're at the beach or the beach is a long way or something like that?
Yeah.
And then she's like, gotta call my mom. And that's why she...
Oh, so that triggered
Right.
Madison.
Yeah. I had the same thing and my brother told me that. I'm like, what? Oh, all right.
I felt like that whole just barging into the house, that was really just Madison trying to fight the memories and trying to remember everything. That was just her desperation trying to just,
well, I think
remember
even
things.
similar to that Marcus last week or 2 weeks ago said there's this little girl in me who just won't go down. So I think any moment that she can make it up and take control is a moment that she's going to take advantage of and fight and take over. And I see a phone, I'm going to run to it, I'm going to call my mom. That's just it. She's in survival.
survival mode for sure. And then when we hear the voices and when we hear the queer reverty music, that's the turn. That's Marcus again.
Yeah.
Nice.
A very nice audio device to help with that.
Yeah. We need any little help we can get.
You've heard us talk about this on this show before. When you guys were working on this, are you calling her Madison? Are you calling her Marcus? Like, how does that in the script? Like, how are you dealing with that?
I think we always called her Madison.
Okay.
But for Amy Rose, because Mira wanted to know, who am I supposed to be?
Sure.
And so, but if you're a assistant director, or producer, line producer, that starts to make them nuts because you're like, where's the Amy actress is not here? So
where's that lady who won an Oscar? She's somewhere around here.
Yeah. So then Marcus does get turned on, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
He's questioning.
When you said turned on, I thought you were talking about a whole different thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Not aroused.
Because he has the creepy thing with kids and girls. Maybe I thought you were talking about that. I was like, missed a scene.
Well,
yeah.
Well, we know that Marcus knows his way around a knife. So it
Yeah.
makes me think that all the killings that he's done in his past life were by knife.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the knife is missing from the wall, though, too, when Detective, what's his name, came into the house. He said, didn't he say that? Yeah.
What are the chances of finding Marcus with a knife?
Yeah.
Why did I get the feeling?
Yeah,
that
something
This
along
guy's
those
gonna have a
lines.
knife.
But then when we see Madison grab the knife, like she did that hand trick with it, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Larry's gonna die.
But Larry dies, but he's given his address, so the parents know now where she is. So this is probably going to involve them more now, because I'm assuming they're on their way.
Yeah, at the very least, the police.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. I've tweeted this a couple times, and I had this, but people go, Amber Alert, Amber Alert. And what I didn't even know doing this is Amber Alert, you have to have proof of an abduction.
Sure.
So if a kid's missing, there's not an Amber Alert. You have to say, Uncle so-and-so or this guy down the street took the kid and these 3 people saw it, Amber Alert.
Sure.
That's why there's not that many of them. So I was getting a lot of grief. And you just want to have a little pop-up on the TV and go, Amber Alert.
Yeah.
Is the definition.
Well, you or Darren accidentally, I think, covered that because when Richard shows up to their beach house,
He explains that.
yeah. One of them, somebody says, "Well, we don't know that she didn't run away. Maybe she's upset about her parents' divorce, or know." So I think that was covered. People need to settle down. Okay, so Larry's dead now. And then you love the scene where
they're drinking whiskey, taking a shower, just chugging it.
Yeah, straight from the bottle.
Yeah. That was, what more do you want than that?
Yeah. Small girls.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah, I
disturbing,
don't personally want it, but
anytime she's like, I loved her driving the car too. Anytime she's doing anything that.
Well, she can't really see over the steering wheel, just kind of driving erratically.
It doesn't matter that you're this like killer whose soul has gone from body to body. If you're 9, you're gonna have trouble driving that car.
Yeah, you need at least a phone book or something so you can see over the wheel.
That was a great day in her life.
Well, Richard shows up, realizes this is Marcus, probably went back to his old house, and this is another moment that I'm not really sure whether Madison was in her own body or Marcus was there.
I think it was
No, I felt that was
all
when
Marcus.
he's
like, I just need a hug, please. Do not hug her. Do not hug her.
But then why does he hesitate?
Why is Rich even talking to her in the first place? Because we see him just go into a room and shoot up the place and shoot up anyone that he needs to. But then here, of course, there's the dramatic dialogue that you have to have between each other. I'm like, just shoot her. Kill her. It's so violent. I know.
I would be killing off the lead character on the show.
I know, but also keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
The first time he didn't shoot her on the beach, I thought that maybe there was this idea of, and we have seen that Richard is disillusioned with this whole thing, and maybe there was this idea of okay, it's a kid. Am I gonna like shoot this? Even though he had killed like a teenager earlier in that episode or whatever. But I wonder if his hesitation has more to do with maybe when we get more details of the deal they struck or the thing he did for them, and maybe his hesitation has something to do with that.
Well, Marcus has something over.
Well, what a very smart person in the room said is that if he works for them long enough, maybe he gets to be like them. So if he kills off Marcus, and that was the deal that they had, he's not going to get a chance to, I guess, intrude himself. Or
That's kind of all right.
Yeah.
But there's a real character thing that comes up. It all goes back to...
I have a prediction about it.
Not yet.
Okay.
Still
with his brother.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, and maybe it's more so for his brother than him?
That's all I'll say.
Oh, so close.
It's so cool being a tease.
I have to say, though, I think Richard's getting so sloppy, and and Frank told him that he was getting totally sloppy about it, but now he's going for a car chase in a minivan. I mean, that's
all he had. That's all he had. Was he going to chase on foot? It was a Dodge Charger, I think.
well, he's not. It's a Dodge Charger. He's never going to catch it in a minivan.
Well,
he's got to try.
Yeah, he could because she is just a little girl who can't hardly ever see over
Swerve
the
it all
steering
over the
wheel.
road.
He did see her. He did watch her drive off and like this. So he's
But
like, all right.
even that, like someone is probably gonna notice a little kid's driving a car.
Well, I also loved all those
radically.
moments because any moment of just dark humor you could throw into this.
Sure.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right, let's get to Gary Fischer here. We've talked about whether or not Gary Fischer is a good guy, bad guy. Don't give that away.
I won't.
Okay. Where does everybody stand at this moment?
I still think he's a good guy.
I think that he did. Well, he didn't let on as much as he knew, because clearly he was fired however many months ago. But since he's been able to figure out so much, I don't know. He's afraid for his daughter as well, or Donna. That's now the daughter, I guess.
Not Donna. Not his
not
daughter.
Donna/Emily.
Yeah, no, I think he's a good guy. I think he's just mixed up in it, and clearly he's on some sort of medication. I don't know.
I thought he was good. Then I started to agree with you that he was bad, but now I'm back thinking he's good. And he's got issues.
He says the dead do.
He's exposed to the ghost machine.
Sure, yeah. He says the dead do come back to life too in that flashback. So it lets you to believe that he knows way more than he's telling. But I don't know.
Well, but see, Jack has that flashback, so now he's starting to question.
Yeah.
But I think that was before he got kind of a lot more information out of Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think Gary is opening up more. And I think the reason why we weren't sure if he was good or bad was just simply because he was playing his cards close to the chest and he didn't know. He's figuring it all out too.
Yeah, Gary doesn't know who to trust right now.
Yeah.
Because now that Bill Anderson's gone, Gary's the next person to be as paranoid as Bill used to be, because only a few people knew about this ghost machine.
Yeah.
And he's probably the only living person who had interactions with the machine now. So now he's the paranoid one who knows more information than everybody else.
Okay, that's fair. I'm still on the fence about him. I feel better about him this week than I have this entire time, but I don't know. I still have a question.
His eyes are open. He sees the souls in the other people.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
But that was a good editing practice when Jack was calling the firm to, find out Gary, and then finds out Gary doesn't work there. And then there was the quick flash. Saying the line, it could come back, or
dead do come back to life, huh?
Yeah, the dead do come back to life, which made me at that moment think that maybe Gary has been intruded by someone. But then we find out with the exposition with Gary that he.
Well,
if the idea is that we all might have someone else going on inside of us.
Yeah, or someone that can remember.
I keep going back to
maybe
the
sometimes he's controlled by his other or whatever.
Yeah.
I think Gary's just Gary, though.
I don't know, because he felt sick.
I think because he was exposed. Now he sees.
Maybe he felt sick because there's another soul inside of him.
And that's how it transferred to the daughter, maybe.
Yeah, what I thought was really interesting, the dramatic turn with Gary in this episode, because all the other episodes he's very composed and he knows what he's saying, but this one he's like deteriorating fast and he's completely a different person.
You know, he's such a good actor because like he knew that was coming. So for 4 episodes to not give a hint that that was coming, so that you would think that or you would think that and not be sure, and still not be sure about him. For Tori Kittles, he's just like in a room all day for 2 days or whatever it was, is a real hotel, just to be in that place where you're crazy is really tough for an actor. He did a great job.
Yeah.
I agreed.
Yeah.
Well, don't they say something about like the other souls or spirits or people that have been able to figure this thing out, like explains like schizophrenia and all that stuff? So like he is on medication. We didn't see exactly what it was, but I would assume it has something to do with mental condition.
Well, see, I thought that he was just on medication like since he's been fired, since he shook his daughter, since his wife took a restraining order out on him, since he's been exposed to the ghost machine, and now maybe just needs some help sleeping.
Well, look, even if you believe there's a soul inside, like someone else's soul inside of your daughter, you know, not being able to now see your daughter, shaking your daughter, things like that, I mean, you're going to question your own sanity about that. You're going to start to think that maybe I am, you know, I mean, he knows he's right with the soul thing, but I'd imagine that when you're going to lose your whole family, you'd start to be like, maybe I am crazy.
Why not be honest with Jack, though? Why not say, oh, I'm between jobs right now, I'm whatever? Like, why lie to him?
Well, I guess there's more authority to him if he's, you know, employed and the lawyer and all this stuff.
Like he has a legit reason, a legit title for Gary and for Jack to comply to work with him.
I mean, if he shows up, he's like, yeah, my whole family doesn't want to see me, and I'm out here in Seattle.
There's another spirit in my daughter.
But
Jack's not gonna let him in.
He could still be Cromfield's lawyer without being at that firm right now. True?
Well, I mean, but I guess if
he wasn't disbarred.
But if Jack did any looking into it, he'd probably see that the firm represented Cromfield and whatever. And then...
But he's... Right.
But if he said he wasn't working for that firm...
Right, he would have no firm to look into. He could have just said...
But then if you do any investigation into that guy, he's trying to cover his bases.
I think it was just character building, pretty much, to know that he was an established person. He did have a legit title and position, you know, and he does have his credentials are, you know, firms that, and like all this information comes from somewhere.
He's probably ashamed too of what's gone on with his family and not having the job and stuff.
Like he literally had everything and he lost it.
Yeah, he had it all.
Had it all now. It's
and
just
then Donna popped up again in his life.
Not Donna.
And Donna's trying to warn him, is what he's saying.
How does he know that? I mean...
Well, I saw that when his kid...
Yeah, the eyes color changed,
and he just kind of...
But I guess you're wondering, how does he interpret that as a warning and not a... Well, I guess when you've been exposed to the ghost machine...
Plus, he's had Donna's letter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that was in third person.
Yeah. Well, yes, but how does he know that it's a warning about these people and not just like, I really missed you?
I mean, hasn't he said, didn't he say... Yeah. Didn't he say that he had been looking into them for quite some time? He had all the paperwork around the room, and
yeah, he did have a lot of paperwork in that room.
He's got a lot of...
It was in circular motion.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I feel like he's looked a lot into their past and found out about like why money was transferred or why money was dissolved before somebody died. Maybe he's just putting the... I mean, he's a lawyer. He's probably a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
And again, ghost machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
You learn a lot from being exposed to a ghost
Not
machine.
just the name of money.
You might have an extra idea into the motives of that soul. You might be able to communicate with that soul better after being exposed to the ghost machine.
Yeah. But also, do we know, is Donna personally just a good person? Because I think the only time we saw Donna was her birthday and then when she killed herself. So we don't really know much about Donna. Is she just a good person? And then if Gary knows it's Donna who's returned and he knows Donna's a good person, it might be they have a more positive motive to help people out. Like, not all intruders are bad.
Right.
Yes, but I think that you don't ever want your babies soul to be replaced by the ghost of anybody, good or bad.
No, that's
Well,
upsetting.
no, of course not. But if you know it's replaced
Some days.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you know it was replaced by someone who was a good person when they were alive, you could probably make sense that it was probably a positive warning.
If my baby's soul got inhabited by Abraham Lincoln, maybe I'm not so upset. If it's Mussolini, I'm upset.
How would you know it's not Daniel Day-Lewis in your baby pretending to
I
be
think I made
Abraham
a
Lincoln?
comment of
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis
It
last
could
week
be.
being that's why he's such a good actor.
See, now you guys are blowing my mind.
Yeah, did it. We did it, guys.
Yeah.
Hooray.
I'm also thinking Ghost Machine is going to be the name of my next band, by the way. The Ghost Machine.
I feel like you say that a lot. I feel like you have a lot of bands in the works.
I feel like I've mentioned a band one time.
Well, all right. Maybe.
I do have a lot of bands. So.
Do we
Inspired by
have
Intruders.
any thoughts about Amy being Rose? This was a pretty big reveal. I know we've talked about it throughout the show a bit, but
It makes more sense, obviously, now. But you were going to say
No.
something?
I'm just, I am a little annoyed I didn't realize it sooner. I didn't realize it until like a minute before it happened, in all honesty. Maybe I was just enjoying the episode so much, not thinking that far ahead. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait, it's going to be, and then it came to me.
yeah. Do we have any, I think we'd like to talk to you for a minute, but before we do, just a few predictions.
This is some
Yeah.
predictions.
And now,
Hey.
Yeah, there goes the lights.
predictions.
Well, there was I think it was you, Will, that said something about that it seems like some of these intruders that have come back have had something to do with musicians, perhaps musicians in the church. And in the coming or next episode thing, it was like a trumpet mouthpiece. I don't know, so I'm thinking maybe that sort of supports the theory that somehow like something with the organs in the church had something to do with figuring out how the body or how they came back. So maybe musicians figured it out first, which would make me very proud myself, that I could figure it out.
Well, I think that's the what do you keep calling them, totems or whatever?
Triggers.
Triggers. For the jazz music, for Bix or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And my thought is that maybe Amy, one of the reasons they wanted to maybe keep Jack around is maybe they're going to try to awaken the Bix's soul in Jack, and that's where Jack falls into this.
Yeah, but why would they try to kill him then?
Well, that's the one thing that I'm not sure about, but I feel like that's, I don't know, because he clearly has a bigger role to play than he already knows, and
Sure.
they're already a couple.
Yeah.
Why not keep that going?
Well, and Amy does call him like
Yeah.
first shepherd at some
Yeah.
point, so maybe he just hasn't.
Some
woken up
predictions,
yet.
I have to sit here all neutral.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
You can make your own prediction if you
Well,
like
Yeah.
That wouldn't be quite
Remember what
fair.
happens.
about season 2, maybe.
Or you can make a prediction on what we talk about next week. On AFTERBUZZ.
So my thing, I talked about these intruders are affecting families that are broken, more so like couples. Now I'm going to build upon that and saying, when we saw Marcus's body, he was tied up next to someone. So we're going to find someone else is going to be brought back from Marcus's partner. And then also with Amy now being Rose, who has this fascination with Bix, it makes me think that Rose was involved with Bix's, and like maybe they were lovers or something. Maybe.
Off the books.
Off the books. Do we have an off the books drop?
Interesting. Okay.
I'm
Then-
coming here every week.
Yeah,
do it.
you are
Yeah,
welcome to
do
come
it.
here anytime you
Please do.
like.
And obviously, we're going to see more intruders because there were a lot of bodies in that floor. So we only have a few intruders now, and we're going to see a lot more.
Yeah.
That's probably a given, though.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, one more.
I knew there was
I just keep thinking as I'm talking. Marcus has something. Maybe Marcus knows like the whereabouts of Richard's brother, or has something over Richard's brother, and he's using the brother as leverage over Richard.
Oh, yeah, I think
and that's why Richard is.
Hence the hesitation.
Yeah, and that's why Richard's gone through all this. With
he has something to lose, so he can't kill Marcus.
Exactly. I like that a lot. Well, I'm going to go back to my prediction that Richard's actually a good guy. And in this episode, he seemed almost just like a hitman. And he's really just kind of following orders from other people. And I think deep down, he's a good guy. So that's one.
The second
side glance.
The second he seemed disillusioned about the whole thing, I immediately thought of you thinking he's a good guy and be like, oh, well, he's not all.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt.
Oh no, please.
Yeah.
No, this is it's not giving anything away. It might sound like it is, but it's not.
Okay.
But James Frain is a great actor and he plays a lot of villains. And he came to me one day and he said. He told his 9-year-old son he got a part in the show and he likes the show, and the son said, "Good guy," and James had to go, "No," and that had an effect on you. Shouldn't just have anything be black and white.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm happy that everyone has this. What's the deal with him? Because there is that going on.
Okay.
But it was all based on his kid wanting his dad to play a good guy.
All right. That's really interesting. I think that somehow, like, fathers and daughters are going to be a part of the story somehow. I think that, I know, stay with me, guys.
Okay, we're still here.
That in Marx's basement, there was that photo. I think that it could have been his daughter.
Yeah, it could have been.
And, let's say Madison has a father. She does.
I think that's how it works. A mother and a father.
I think
baby.
there is. Jack and Amy lost a child. I don't know. I just feel like fathers and daughters might somehow come into play here.
Yeah.
And of course, Gary and his daughter. So.
Somebody said something to Jack about not being able to have a kid, and there was like a cross look from Jack.
Well, because we know that they'd lost a child. She had a miscarriage, so when he said something about that, I think it was like it was just kind of a shot at him, or it hit him the wrong way.
Yeah. So I don't know. So we really have just like 2 minutes here, but I think we would like to have you back. Definitely, please do come every week. And
I've got a fold out couch at home. You can stay on that if you like.
And does that everybody want to ask just like the biggest question in their hearts?
Right. I mean, this season 1 only has.
About the Intruders.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had 10 questions about X-Files.
Well, season 1 only has 8 episodes, but I read that you guys shot like 4-episode blocks. And how did that help with the writing aspect? Were the scripts written, were already set, and you filmed those 4 episodes, then another 4 episodes, or while filming you had to change things here and there?
Well, we did change things here and there, but it was that way. John Sim was on a show, The Village, so we shoot with him for 3 weeks, and then he'd go back to England, and then we'd shoot stuff with Millie or whatever. And then he came back, and so that had played a part in why we shot it that way. So then, we had the 4, and then the next 4, which Daniel Stam started. Eduardo Sanchez did the first 4, and then Daniel's episode started last night. And so they were all written. We knew where we were going, but along the way you might go, well, Millie and James have to get together. They have to do a scene together, or something like that. So they were tweaked here and there.
Okay, cool.
Gentlemen.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with a lot of my questions about Millie, or even with the network and stuff like that, were answered. I know we're running.
Okay, yeah. I think like my biggest question is, we've talked a lot on the show about how you seem to be sort of drawn to the idea of death, or maybe sort of the unexplained. And so my question is a personal question. What keeps you up at night? Because I feel like it might be everything or nothing.
Whether I get another job.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's all of us in this
Right,
industry.
yeah.
Even Glen Morgan wonders about a job when he writes a fantastic show like Intruders.
Thanks again. All of us on the show can't thank you guys enough for all that you've done, and I look forward to seeing next week. Is heavy duty.
I can't wait.
Don't do that.
We're so excited. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yes, thank you.
Supporting us, yeah.
Yeah, are you
Yeah.
kidding? Yeah. Where can the people find you?
I hide from people.
Social media.
Yeah, I don't know what I am. At Glen Morgan
Glen
or at
Morgan.
BBC,
Glen
they'll
Morgan.
find
It's
it
like
out.
GLENMRGN, I think.
Without the vowels. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
We'll tweet you out
works.
too.
All right, thank you. Well, thanks.
You can find me at The Real Will Lenk. You could also listen to my podcast, Will Sean Podcast, on the Westcast Network. It's funny.
It is funny. I've listened to it. You can find me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram The Isaac Johnson. You can also go to my YouTube page, also The Isaac Johnson. Check out my music video for a song I wrote called Virginia, and there's a short film I was in as well called The Forge up there.
Excellent. And you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. Glen Morgan, thank you so much for joining
Glenn.
us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And we will see everybody next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.